Hey everybody, I'm doing a little clip because the one time I tried to live stream with JT, the connection wasn't good. I didn't know if it was my area where I'm at right now. But anyway, we were going to have a discussion about Troy Reid and the do-it-yourself world. And I made a few crib notes on the back of an envelope, old school. So anyway, by the way, my name is Jeannie. Back in the day, I had a YouTube channel, and the username I had at the time was Disco Hippie Chick. The channel is still up, but some weird freaky thing happened a few years ago where they froze the channel and only about 5 videos remain up. So anyway, I currently have a channel that just says JP. I really don't do much on YouTube. Busy with family and personal things in my life. So anyway, that's who I am. Those of you who were participating in all the tomfoolery with the do-it-yourself world years ago probably remember me. So anyway, my first point, I have my reading glasses. All right, Troy Reid, the do-it-yourself world, you've probably already seen the whole show. One of his characters, regular characters in his little show, was a cat, his cat called Baby Cat. Now, I do believe this was his cat and he loved the cat, but he used the cat to milk for sympathy and donations and money and everything. When I first started participating in watching and commenting in the do-it-yourself world, I was in recovery from orthopedic surgery and I was unable to walk for 6 months. I was in a cast. And so and it was the winter time and living in upstate New York with the snow and the cold and just hopping on one foot with a walker. It was horrible. So anyway, I was on there a lot, and Baby Cat sometimes would act real bratty when he would have her come on camera. And one of his other regulars, Molly Dolly, this woman that was like his biggest fan, even though she was a married woman, said, "Oh, she's in heat. She's in heat." And I said, "Oh, you can get her fixed for free or cheap." Let me back up. At the time, I was living in a now sort of semi-famous small town on the Hudson River, Beacon, New York. And Beacon, New York is 20 miles away from Pine Bush, where Troy had the tiny home of his. Okay. So I had gone online thinking that the cat was not fixed because they said she was in heat and acting bratty. I went online and I Googled places where you could get a cat spayed or neutered for your cheap. And I give him this information in the chat or whatever the comments. And all of a sudden, they get real snotty with me and go, "Oh, she's fixed, she's fixed, she's been fixed, she's fixed." And very innocently, I had said, "Oh, well, the other day you had said, oh, she's in heat." And so that was the beginning. Prior to that, I just would always come in and just say nice things. I had no reason to believe he lied. Okay. I then mentioned, I said, I don't live that far. I live, about 20 miles away. And it seemed like he didn't like that. He didn't like that. Okay. Point number 2. Okay, this ties into my location. Troy Reid chronically lied about the weather, particularly in the winter. There were always blizzards and snowstorms, according to him. Oh, I just dropped the mouse. Constantly blizzards and snowstorms, rain, winds, hurricanes, all kinds of catastrophe, destroying his hard work. And before I realized what a con job the man was, he would say like, "Oh, we've got 3 feet of snow overnight." And I'd be like, "Troy, I live 20 miles away. There was no snow in the Hudson Valley." "Oh, well, I'm further west of it." I said, "Not really. You're just 20 miles west of me." And then I would go check Weather Underground and see there was no snow and very innocently comment about it. I wasn't thinking that I was calling him out. And he would say that I was a troll at this point and that it snowed just on his property in the immediate vicinity, and that I was a liar and a troublemaker and a troll. Or he hinted at that very strongly. And this happened repeatedly. Okay. Third point. Okay. Free siding. So, one of my neighbors, at the beginning of me watching the do-it-yourself world, one of my neighbors had their siding redone, and they bought new siding, and there was tons of siding left, and they had no use for it, and it was just there in a pile. And it was just a couple of doors down from where I live. So I went outside, it's a neighborly neighborhood, and I was talking to the contractor and the owner, and I said, "Oh, what are you going to do with that siding?" And they said, "Oh, we can't resell it, and it's basically going to go in the trash." And I said, "I know of somebody that's building one of those tiny homes." And I told them the dimensions, and they said, "Oh, this is enough to do two of them. Tell your friend that we'll hold it here for 48 hours, and he has to come and pick it up, but it's his for the taking." So I was all excited, and I went and I messaged Troy to tell him, "This is brand new, beautiful siding. Take it. Come and get it. It's not heavy. You could probably do it yourself. I'll even have my sons help you if you need a little help." Okay? Oh, he got real snotty and nasty and blah, blah, blah. No. Now that kind of made me suspicious too. Okay. Now, fourth point. Um, on his channel, he featured another cast member who was a very, very nice man of many things. His real name, I believe, was Milton. He lived in the area, either in Newburgh or on the other side of the river, maybe near Poughkeepsie. Very, very nice man. Totally loyal, great friend to Troy, and appeared in some of his videos. Well, man of many things' big thing was his SJ, or survival tip. He coined that phrase. He loved his SJ, and he was very proud of it. And Troy went and got a Jeep. And Man of Many Things was promised that Troy would not copy or rip off. Well, he did. And Man of Many Things was really upset. I had written a letter to Troy through the YouTube messaging or whatever. And Troy wrote back a very odd scripted response. He wasn't even addressing what I wrote to him, and instead wrote terrible, terrible things about his friend Milton. Horrible, throwing him under the bus. And I knew it was all lies. I really wanted to show that email to Milton, but it kind of violated one of my moral codes is you don't show an email sent to you to someone else. And I kind of thought about it for a couple of days. It really weighed heavily on me because I didn't want to betray a confidence or throw now Troy under the bus, but he totally trashed Milton after Milton was devoted to him. And I decided that I had to let Milton know, and I contacted him, and I forwarded him the email. And at first, I think Milton was angry at me and thought I was trying to stir the pot, and I was a troublemaker. But I think as time went on, and it didn't take very long, Milton started to see the situation for what it was, and they sort of had a falling out. And Milton, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry. I want you to know that I did really think about it, and I felt really bad to be the one to tell you what I told you, but I think you would have found out sooner or later. So anyway, Man of Many Things, if you find his channel and you're into tiny houses and hiking and all that, subscribe to him. He's a really very nice man. Okay, so that was another thing. Okay, now, okay, fifth point. When I used to go in there and comment at the beginning, before I was labeled as a troll, I didn't know who was who. I was very inexperienced with YouTube. I had a channel that was geared more towards a woman, but I was interested in tiny houses. So anyway, I would comment to Molly Dolly at the beginning. There was an older woman they called Snap. All kinds of people. I would just chat with them. I had no dog in that fight at the beginning. there was a man that would kind of like tease me a little bit. He went by the name of Jedi Knight and then later Signature EMR. And now you know him as Sig. Well, when he first started chatting with me, Troy was like, don't talk to him. He's a troll. And I was like, but he's not saying anything nasty to me. We're just talking. Going to reveal a little bit about my background. As a young woman, I was a New York State licensed optician, and I practiced in Manhattan for quite a few years. After being married and having children and moving out of the city and having a longer commute, I then switched careers and became a manager in medical billing, and my specialty was chiropractic. So one of my strong points was getting old workers' comp claims that had not been paid, reprocessed and paid. So when we were doing the chat, somehow it came out that, he was in that field and I was in a related field. And I like to talk shop. So I talked shop. In fact, I tried to get some of the people he knew to sign up for my former place of employment because I would have gotten like a commission for every account that signed up, but that didn't pan out. So that's how Sig and I first met and started talking. But I don't want to make this whole video about us. It's about the DIY world and Troy. But yes, I gave you the origins of my friendship and subsequent relationship with, I know him as Perry, you know him as Sig, okay? So anyway, that's just a little, I just figured I'd throw that in. All right. The sixth and final point, okay. Fixed by Doc. There was a man, he actually appeared with his wife, his very lovely wife, Addie, and he went by the name Fixed by Doc. His real name was Ryan Lipinski. It's public knowledge. I'm not doxing him or anything. He was on a TV show, and I'm going to ask you all to drop the link to the YouTube video that shows his TV show. Fixed by Doc was a retired young man, a military, middle-aged young, and he had a lot of experience with, like hiking and off the grid. And he really had a really nice setup in Pennsylvania. I knew the name of the town and I wrote it down, but I believe it was about 350 miles, like a 4.5 hour drive away from where Troy was in Pine Bush. And I believe at the beginning they were friendly, and Doc and Troy even met up. I think Doc might have come out to Troy's property to try to help him out. A lot of people came out to Troy's to help him out, or they helped him out through the internet. They sent him things. He got a lot of donations and advice, and he seemed like he turned on everybody. So at first, Doc was really nice to him. A nice man. I didn't really know him personally, but he had a lovely wife, a lovely setup. He seemed very knowledgeable. And I think that one time Doc, just said, oh, this, you made a mistake, Troy. You should have done it like this or whatever. And Troy totally turned on him and trashed the man, insulted his wife, trashed the man, lied about him, said that he was a troll, accused Doc of driving 350 miles to come and throw like a ladder off of his roof. Who does that? Who does that? Troy is a narcissist, a manipulator, and he's just effing cray-cray. He's a con man, and he's still out there conning people, manipulating. He's such a narcissist, it just makes me want to puke. Anyway, I stopped watching him. I think that was the origins of what you now call the BOYT. I'm not really into YouTube. Sorry, I don't mean to insult or put down, but I'm not into BOYT. I mean, I watch it a little, but I mean no disrespect to anybody. But back then, it was Link Knight, Tony Mullen, Sig, myself. If I left anyone out, I'm sorry. That we would come in and we would comment, and Dive Crew Canada, and somebody actually started a website where they debunked and we did like parodies, and they debunked everything about Troy and all of his lies and schemes. And there was the blue table and the flying ladder and the trolls and the dirty animals, the raccoons that supposedly killed his chickens. This is what I believed happened. And Troy slipped up a few times. He rented a room from the lady that owned the property, as did other people. And he paid extra to have that little house on the property, and he used it as a staging area. He did not live in the trailer or the tiny house. He used it to prime the pump to get donations. I would look regularly on the local Craigslist and see things that were donated to Troy for sale. So he used this whole thing as a scam and as a con to get money. He lied about his YouTube channel. He just lied about everything. And he was so full of himself and so narcissistic. And the minute somebody, very innocently, and this is what happened time and time again, every time a new person came to the channel and they questioned something, oh, they're a troll, and he would block them, and he would defame them, and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what, Troy Reid? I was a licensed healthcare professional, not once, but twice. I have an excellent credit rating, among other things. But if I go on saying about all those things, I will be a hypocrite doing braggity brag. I am sure my reputation is a hell of a lot better than yours, Troy Reid. I also happened to have been married and a mother and raised two children very well. I don't have a bunch of fake people following me, enabling me. I don't manipulate and con people, and I've paid my own way. So, who are you going to believe? This fake, phony con man or a real person that isn't afraid to show who they are? You showed your face on the videos, Troy, but 90% of what came out of your mouth was just an effing lie. So anyway, I wish no ill will on you because I feel sorry for your wife and your daughter. But you know what? There's something out there called karma. And you know what? Karma always pays you back. So, and I better heed my own words too. I better not judge you. That's only for the man upstairs to do. But I will discern, and I will discern that I want nothing to do with a fakety fake con person. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm sorry I kind of went up on my soapbox. Anyway, everybody have a great day and hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.